How can we stay calm when there's chaos happening all around us? When there's chaos up, there's chaos down, there's chaos left, there's chaos to the right, there's just chaos everywhere. How can we stay calm? Because what happens is usually when there's chaos around us, we like to automatically get pulled into that chaos. Now, how can we make it so that we can stay calm during that chaos and actually be grounded in our own energy and not get pulled into other people's chaos? Because that can happen. People can have all sorts of reactions, all sorts of opinions. Then what happens is we get pulled into that. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to stay calm when there is chaos happening around you. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one to let go of your ego, let go of the anxiety, let go of the fear, let go of the worries, so you can live up into your highest vision and what it is that you're truly meant to be doing, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program and apply for a free consultation. So what you got to realize is that chaos is going to happen. Okay, chaos happens left and right. Right now it's the coronavirus. In a month it's going to be something else. In 2 months it's going to be something else. In a year it's going to be something else. There's chaos everywhere. Now the question is, how can we stay calm in the midst of the chaos that usually inevitably happens? Now, I'm not saying that to be pessimistic. I'm saying that the reality of life is there's going to be something that challenges the ego. And the ego is going to get challenged. And when that time comes, can you stay calm? So the first thing I want to share with you when it comes to how to stay calm when there's actually adversity in your life, when people are scared around you, when there's chaos, like right now it's the coronavirus, everyone's going crazy. What you got to realize is that you have to be the more wise one. You see, the automatic response when people feel heaviness is to get pulled into their story, get pulled into their reality, and now you're living into those people's reality versus them living into your reality. Now what you got to realize is that you want to pull people into your frame versus the other way around. You want to pull people into your frame versus the other way around. And if you're watching this video, I'm willing to bet that your frame is usually the more high vibration frame, because you wouldn't be drawn to this video if you didn't want to stay calm in the midst of chaos. Some people don't care about staying calm in the midst of chaos. They don't question that. They unconsciously go with the herd, and then they start reacting just like everybody else is reacting. Right? You got to realize that the reaction to the coronavirus, the reaction and the fear is more deadly than the actual virus. Okay, fear will actually destroy your life. Fear and ego is the number one thing that will destroy your life. Now, what you got to realize is that when people are fearful, when people are scared, when people are reacting, the question is, are you going to stay grounded and be the more wise one, right? Be more wise, or get pulled into their frame. So what I suggest is be more wise, right? Don't follow the herd. Don't be like society. If people around you are freaking out and being all crazy and being all reactive, now of course I'm not saying this from a judgmental place, show compassion. Okay, show compassion, because those people are living in fear. When you see people in chaos, that's the thing. They're in fear, and then you can get pulled into that fear too. So it's not about judging people, because you could be that person depending on your state of vibration. So what you got to realize is that, are you going to get pulled into their frame, or are you going to be the more wise one and stay grounded in your energy? Stay present to the moment. Stay connected to your breath. Stay connected to your sense perceptions. Be the awareness of the fear versus attaching to the fear. A great way to do this, to be the more wise one, is to stay present even when there's chaos, right? Notice your breath. Be more calm. Stay connected to the present moment even when there's chaos. Of course, there's this urge to get pulled into the chaos, right? That's the ego. That's what the ego wants to do. All the ego wants to do is just feed into more chaos. Now the thing is, of course, at the core level, nobody wants to feel bad. Nobody wants to feel fear. Nobody wants to feel anger. But isn't it interesting how at some weird level, the ego actually craves negative news? It loves to panic. And here's the messed up thing. If you ask somebody, somebody with a big ego, hey, Do you enjoy, fearing or living in fear? Do you enjoy panicking and being in this chaos? They'll tell you no, of course not. But then if you observe the actions of the ego, and this is just an objective analysis of how the ego works, regardless of which human we're talking about, you got to realize that the ego loves panic. That's why the news is always promoting fear, promoting worry, promoting all these things. The ego loves to panic. The ego is addicted to panic in some weird unconscious way. Now, of course, you want to show compassion because the ego doesn't know this. The ego doesn't understand this. So what you need to understand is that in the midst of chaos, you need to be the more wise one. You need to be the one that can be embodiment of that presence. Now, this is not about selling your perspective and telling people why they should be calm. This is about you staying calm in the midst of chaos and just being that calm presence when other people are freaking out. And that can be the best thing that those people need. They don't need you to sell them on your perspective on why they shouldn't be fearing. That person wants you at an unconscious level to be that calm presence and be a full embodiment of who you are and be the more wise one. Okay, be more wise. Do the counterintuitive move. You see, the last thing the ego wants to do is to stay calm in the midst of chaos. It wants to feed into that chaos. It wants to react. It wants to follow the herd. It wants to do what everyone else is doing. So do the counterintuitive move. When you feel chaos in your body, become present to the moment. That's the counterintuitive move, which is more wise, right? The norm is to just feed into the chaos. Start panicking. By the way, panic doesn't do anything. Okay, I think we can both agree panic, fear, and worry does nothing. You can be logical, you can take precautions, but panicking and fearing and worrying and overreacting does absolutely nothing. So the second way to actually stay calm when there is chaos happening around you is to realize that energy flows where attention goes. Okay, so once again, this goes back to the present moment. Energy flows where attention goes. So if you focus on the chaos, if you focus on all the crazy things, well, then that's what you're going to start attracting into your life. And this is not about faking positivity, right? It's like, okay, there's chaos happening, so I'm just going to pretend like it's not happening and put my focus on something else. You can still be aware. You can still be aware that there is this coronavirus happening. You can still be aware that, if you're watching this video a year from now when there is no coronavirus, maybe there's something else happening. You can still be aware that certain things are happening. This is not about being delusional or blind or not using your logic. This is about understanding that your focus, I don't know why I said it like that, your focus is extremely powerful, extremely significant, and it's important to understand, where do you put that focus? Where do you put that focus? Now, this is not about running away from heavy emotions or running away from ego and running away from the darkness. This is just about understanding that you create your reality depending on where you put your focus. So it's important to understand energy flows where attention goes. So are you putting your focus on all that, negative stuff you see on the news? Are you putting your focus on all the chaos? Or are you putting your focus on the beauty and the peace that is in this present moment now? Okay, even if you feel fear in your body, can you bring your focus to be the observer of that fear versus being totally attached to the fear, where all your focus is unconsciously attached to the mind? That's what the ego really is too much energy in the mind, too much energy in the thoughts, the mind creating resistance, the mind over-consuming all the awareness. Shift your awareness to your body and become present to the moment, and notice that when you shift your awareness to the moment, that's where the energy flows, to this present moment, not to the concerns about the future or the concerns about what have happened in the past. Bring your energy and your focus to the now. Even if there might be unconscious, negative feelings in your body, that's okay. Now, this is where it gets counterintuitive, because you're thinking, okay, if I put all my focus in the moment where I feel fear, that's going to create more of that. But you got to realize that the thing that's keeping the fear alive is the awareness attached to the mind, not you bringing the focus to the present moment. If you stay focused on the present moment, even if it feels heavy in your body, eventually that will transmute into positive energy, because the only thing keeping the negative energy alive is in fact the mind and the thoughts creating resistance to that emotion, not the emotion itself. A feeling is a feeling, but what is resisting the feeling is the mind and the resistance and the ego. And to stop the ego, become present to the moment. And remember, energy flows where attention goes. Be aware of the chaos, but at the same time, once you are aware and you've accepted and you've seen the reality as it is now, from a state of acceptance and seeing the darkness for what it is, then you can shift your awareness to what you prefer instead. So it's not that you don't want chaos. You don't want to be resisting the chaos and thinking, why is the chaos happening? I don't want this in my life. You want to shift your awareness to what you prefer instead. Because remember, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Law of attraction basics. Law of attraction basics. Energy flows where attention goes. Shift your energy to what you prefer. So rather than thinking, I don't want chaos, remember, I want peace. I want serenity. I want abundance. I want to feel good in the present moment. Bring all your awareness to your breath. Bring all your awareness to the present moment. Focus on what you prefer instead. And stop feeding into the chaos of the collective during this time. And if you're watching this video a year from now, there's probably going to be something else. You know, right now it's coronavirus. A year later, it's going to be something else. Where do you put your attention? Do you choose to feed into the paradigm and the collective energy of fear, or do you choose the vibration of love despite the fear that's happening? Now, I'm not saying once again to be blind. In fact, this whole process is you accepting your emotions from a state of acceptance and awareness, but then eventually understanding that once you process and are aware of certain things, you can realize that you can bring your attention to the present moment. You can choose to focus on abundance rather than lack. It's just a choice. And you can tune into each vibration that you want only when you have consciousness and awareness and acceptance of where you're at. Remember, energy flows where attention goes. So understand the power of your attention. The power of your attention is the most powerful currency that you have. Okay? And the thing is that we unconsciously keep our attention all over the place. We go here, we go there, we go to the news. See, if you're going to keep all your energy on the news, then what are you going to manifest into your life? Because your energy is flowing in that direction. Focus on your goals. Focus on your vision. Don't focus on the chaos happening around you. Focus on what it is that you prefer to experience. Because if you watch the news, if you keep talking about the coronavirus, if you keep talking about how negative it is, not saying to resist it and to push it out, accept it, then realign your focus. If you keep talking about it, if you keep feeding into the thought pendulums and all these negative thoughts and all these reactions, if you're feeding into it, you're only going to create and manifest that reality longer than needed. Now, the third way to stay calm when there's chaos happening around you is to use humor. You know, lighten up a little bit. Check out Sadhguru's video on how to deal with the coronavirus. He just turned it into one big joke. Not from a space of rejecting the truth, but just use a little bit of humor. You know, a lot of the times when there's chaos happening, we don't want to bring a little bit of humor into the situation because we think it's too serious. You know, now's not a time to be humorous because now's the time to be very serious, is what the ego says. There's no time for fun and games. There's no time for humor. You got to realize that humor is one of the best things you can do in a serious situation. You know, bring a little bit of lightheartedness to that situation, make it a little bit funny, right? Bring some humor into that situation. Be a little bit more funny. You know, like sometimes when I get chaos thrown at me, I'll reframe it. Like let's say an ego comes at me and says some really scary thing, I'll reflect that fear back to them from my high vibration state with humor. And that's a huge tool. That's a huge tool. If somebody throws some lower vibrational energy at you, repeat it back to them with humor, not in a judgmental way, and they'll feel that. You can't fake this. You have to be actually non-judgmental and be present. And, you know, don't laugh at the person. Laugh at the situation. Make it funny. You know, make it funny. Check out Sadhguru's video, how to deal with the coronavirus. It's pretty funny. You know, he brought lightness to the situation. When there's chaos happening, the best thing you can do is just bring humor into it by being more present to the moment. You know, humor really is one of the most powerful things. That can raise your vibration pretty quick. Now, of course, some people are going to be like, no, Francis, you know, there's no time to be humorous. There's all this crazy stuff happening. You know, who are you to say that we should be laughing? This is serious. Okay, so be serious. But I'll laugh it out. I'll laugh it out. And you got to realize, once again, this isn't about, resisting negative emotions or running away from situations and deluding ourselves. This is about fully accepting the heaviness you have, taking the logical precautions you need when there's chaos. And here's the thing that Eckhart Tolle always says: are you using your mind, or is your mind using you? Because a lot of the times in the midst of chaos, our mind takes control of us. You see, there's a fine line between being logical and living completely in fear. Okay, now a lot of people are confusing using logical mind for their own minds using them. If you're overreacting to the chaos, if you're overreacting to the coronavirus, if there's all this negativity, all this reactivity, that's not being logical. That's living in fear. That's living in fear. Now, I know that for a lot of you, that might be hard to hear, and a lot of people may disagree with that, but I just want to be truthful. There is that fine, you can use the logic. Like, what is the logic here? Wash your hands. Make sure you can stay safe. Be mindful. The rest is an overreaction. And I mean that in the most loving, straightforward way possible. Like, define the word. It's literally overreaction. You see, people, you can react, you can respond, but there's an overreaction. It's just an overreaction. That's what it is. It's an overreaction. Think about the word overreaction. You're overreacting. And that can happen a lot in the midst of chaos. I get it. We don't want to stay calm. Here's the thing. The last thing the ego wants to do is to stay calm and stay present in the midst of chaos. What I'm sharing with you is the most counterintuitive move. This is what I'm saying. Be more wise. Do the counterintuitive move. What the ego says in the midst of chaos is, no, there's no time to be calm. There's no time to be calm. We need to be serious, Francis. There's a serious thing going on. There's all this heaviness. There's all this worry, Francis. We need to be serious. Now, I get it. I understand that there can be heavy situations, but once again, be the more wise one. Stay calm. Focus your energy in the right place. Keep your vibration high. And when you do that, bring a little bit of humor into it. Make the situation funny. Oftentimes when we feel the most heaviness in our life, and we really don't want to be present in that moment, we really don't want to connect to the beauty of the moment in the midst of chaos, not only should you be connecting to the present moment when there's chaos and when negative, uncomfortable situations happen, but you want to stay present especially when these things are happening, because that's when you grow the most. That's when you can really shift and grow your spirit and get stronger, is when you stay calm, especially when those things happen. Not just when, as something to try occasionally. Use chaos and adversity as a tool to stay calm. That's a spiritual practice on its own right there. To build your spirit up when there's chaos, stay calm. When that life situation happens that you didn't want it to go in that way, which, by the way, something will come up in your life where you didn't want that thing to go in that way, and then it went in a certain way, that's what's going to happen. That's life. And the question is, are you going to be the more wise one? So bring some humor. Don't be afraid to laugh it out. Now, I know that there's a lot of heaviness, there's a lot of worry, but become present to the moment. Accept all of those emotions as they are. Don't resist them. And then be more wise. Raise your vibration. And maybe bring some humor into it. Now, I know that for a lot of people, they don't want to hear this. It's like, we can't be laughing right now. Francis, are you saying, in the midst of chaos, just pretend to laugh it off? No, I'm just saying find reasons to make it funny. Find reasons to make it funny. The number one thing you can really do is, calm your mind, become present to the moment, and, start meditating. You see, once again, when we feel heaviness, okay, I'm going to close off the video on this point. When we feel heaviness, and we feel anxiety, once again, the last thing the ego wants to do is to embrace that heaviness and then calm itself down. Ask an angry person in chaos to notice their breath and calm down. He will not listen to you. Okay, maybe you've experienced this, okay? Maybe you've experienced it. You try to communicate to somebody that's in the midst of chaos and anger. Try to communicate to that person how to be present to the moment. They won't be open for the discussion, okay? They're not going to be open for the discussion. They're not going to want to hear what you have to say because the ego doesn't want that. Even though probably is the best move in that moment for you and that person. You know, for that person, what they really need is to just calm down and become present to the moment. But is that person in the midst of chaos going to be open to that? Of course not. And neither is your ego. So be more wise. This is completely counterintuitive. I understand that this information is completely counterintuitive. That's the nature of how the ego works. The ego flips everything backwards, and usually the best thing to do, the ego thinks is the worst thing to do, and vice versa. You got to realize that the best thing to do, even when you don't feel like doing it, is to become present to the moment and calm the ego down by shifting deeper into your sense perceptions and becoming present, bringing a little bit of humor into it, making the situation funny, and then shifting your energy to things that you prefer. Totally the opposite of what your ego wants to hear when it's in the midst of chaos. But these three things will actually teach you to stay calm in the midst of chaos. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one to let go of your ego, let go of the anxiety, let go of the fear, let go of the worry, let go of the lower vibrational emotions so you can step up into your highest vision and what it is that you are truly meant to be doing, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation and see if you're a good fit for the coaching program. So have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.